Welcome back to AV Veterans Talk. We're continuing our conversation with this week's guest, Jodi Champagne. So, Jodi, you have a new project that you're working on, and it has to do with World War One, correct?
World War One and World War Two.
World War Two. So,
yes.
And the name of the project is
Allegiance, Our Heroes Not Forgotten.
Allegiance, Our Heroes Not Forgotten. And I love it when you take on the subject matter and a project, because you go all in. I'll tell you what, it's just, you don't care how cold that water is. You're jumping in.
That's right.
Absolutely. And so you spent all this time and put all this effort into diminishing generations.
Yes.
So I imagine the passion after that was over with and the satisfaction, because I remember the insanity going up to it. I'll never do anything like this ever again, And all of a sudden, after it's over with and you're sitting in the afterglow of the success,
yes.
And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, you're going to do something else.
Yes.
So
yes.
give us a little bit of your passion for your next project.
Okay. Well, actually, my next project came while I was in the middle of doing this book, and I was a friend of mine, Robin Granisey, had been helping me a little bit with documentation and stuff like that of World War II. Mm-hmm. And I was on my way to Arizona to interview, some veterans for the, diminishing generations. And I get a phone call from her, and she's like, "You can't believe what I just received in the mail." And it was a package from a woman in Belgium. And she, talked about that she had adopted her great uncle, and so she has no understanding of this, so she's trying to contact her, and mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my goodness, So when I got back, I did a little research myself and contacted the person as well. And after I heard everything about it, I was, oh my goodness, mm-hmm. This story needs to be told. And I became friends with the adopter. Her name is Anmika. Mm-hmm. And she has helped me so much in understanding what that program is. And I finally just said, oh my goodness, this story needs to be told. But after these books are done,
right, absolutely.
I couldn't focus on anything else. I had to get these books done. Mm-hmm. So when these books were done, I hardly had a break, and all of a sudden I'm already planning my first trip to Europe.
Right.
Within a couple months of finishing Diminishing Generations.
Right.
And for the first time, I went there meeting Anmika and Dirk, her husband, and everyone else that was involved in this project, so I could actually interview them and see things that I never thought I would see ever. Mm-hmm. And as my husband said, this would be a complete circle for me, because I'm going to see things that I've been hearing about.
Right.
The Battle of the Bulge, Normandy.
Right.
I'm seeing this stuff firsthand, so it's going to bring like a closure of my learning experience.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah. When you, I'm thinking, as your life goes on, and stuff. And when I first met you, you were the photographer, and you were probably, up to a certain point in your life, you never had this military. You didn't know much about the veterans world and all this, correct? When did that kind of suddenly come into your life?
Well, actually, I do have a little bit of military history. I had my father had fought in World War II. Mm-hmm. He drove the boat in Normandy, mm-hmm. and the landing craft infantry. Yeah, mm-hmm. And then my husband also was he's a veteran in the Navy,
right.
And that he was part of the first Desert Storm, mm-hmm. And but just like everybody else, I was obviously much younger,
yeah.
And but I didn't have the same type of interest at that time because I didn't have the knowledge. Mm-hmm. And I'm a firm believer things happen for a reason, and things are put in your path when you're ready to accept it or when you're ready to hear it. Mm-hmm. And so I came across a woman and I probably talked about this before. Her name is Louise Brown, and she is actually a descendant of Francis Scott Key. And she was also a Marine during World War II. And if it wasn't for her, I would never have started with Diminishing Generations. And that's how I got involved in depth with the veterans.
Yeah.
And then I haven't been able to stop since.
Yeah, that's a good thing, and we love that. So you just keep on keeping on, as they say.
Yes.
So, we're going to take our next break here, and when we come back, we're going to we'll talk about your journey over to Belgium this time with Robin.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
Yes.
And then we'll just continue on with this great interview with you. Okay.
Great.
So we'll be right back here with Jodi. I'm Bob Alvis, and thanks for joining us for this segment of AV Veterans Talk.